Welcome to the Learning to Love podcast. I'm Dr. Paul Moschetta.
And I'm Dr. Evelyn Moschetta. We are practicing marriage counselors who've been married and living together for over 40 years.
You know, I was thinking today, it might be a good love pointer for those listening out there to look at our dogs that we love so much.
Yeah.
And to reflect on the fact that when we take so many of the histories of partners that come in with troubled relationships, you see how often it is that they did not see a healthy marriage growing up.
Yeah, so what has that to do with our dogs?
So fortunately, many of them, while they didn't have a healthy marriage to see, a good portion of them grew up with a dog, a pet.
Right.
And if they didn't, when we meet them as young adults, there's a dog in the family more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
And that turns out to be a very fortunate development because dogs can teach us a lot about how to love one another. I mean, we've all heard that expression, God, please turn me into the person my dog thinks I am.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And it's interesting because dogs live completely in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
If I yell at my dog at night for raiding the garbage pail,
Right.
just before I go to bed, he doesn't stay up all night feeling that I was mean to do that. He doesn't stay up all night worrying how popular he is in the other dogs in the neighborhood.
Right. That's right.
And he doesn't stay up all night hoping he gets wet food instead of dry food in the morning.
Right.
He's completely in the present moment.
Yes.
And when I come down in the morning, even though I scolded him before I went to bed, he looks at me and reacts to me as if it never happened.
As if he's seeing you for the first time.
As if he's seeing me for the first time. And that seeing in the first time, as we all know, is full of unconditional love.
Right.
When we look into the eyes of our dogs, that's what's staring back at us. Unconditional love and adoration.
Right. Right.
Because there's no ego in there. Making an image, carrying
Right.
over a
Yes.
hurt,
Yes.
feeling
Yes.
an annoyance.
Right, right. Unless he's been or she's been so badly abused.
Oh, of course, that's a whole
Then,
different...
yes, but given normal conditions,
Exactly.
no matter what, it's as you say, it's the ability to look at you as if he or she is seeing you for the very first time.
Now, we humans don't do that.
Right.
We humans do lie awake at night,
Yes.
ruminating. How could he have said that?
Right.
I didn't deserve to be spoken to that way.
Yes.
Right? Humans are always in the past or the future.
Right.
And so when we're a couple living together, every time there's a fight that isn't healed well, every time we have a disagreement that we don't find a good compromise to, every time there's an insult that's not made better with a sincere apology, it carries over and leaves an image.
Right.
And then when you, after a while,
Yes. So
the image, you walk into
Yeah.
a room,
yeah.
I don't see you the way my dog sees you. I see you, oh, here she comes.
Yes.
It'll be only a few short minutes before she starts criticizing me about
right,
something.
Right, right.
Right,
Or she might say it's just a few minutes before he either starts criticizing me for something or blaming me for something.
Or snapping and
Or
is
snapping
grouchy
at
and
me.
irritable.
So the thing is, when we meet each other in the morning, and let's say we have some kind of a disagreement that turns into an argument, and then you go off to work, I go off to work, and then we come back at night and we meet each other. what you just said actually is that we're not meeting each other fresh. We're meeting each other from the image and the eyes that we saw each other as a result of that argument or disagreement. And so there's already a distance between us, and there's already a disconnect between us.
Yes, and you just gave one morning. Well, imagine when there are many mornings like that,
Yeah.
how strong those images become.
That's right. That's
Right? How strong and fixed those images become.
right.
And that's why it's important to take a pet history. Because people can readily relate to the love they get from their
Yes,
dogs.
yes.
Now,
I just want to say, in one of our books, we call this Imageless Perception.
correct.
And really, that's what we're talking about here. Not carrying over the image, which is not an easy task, because because if there are issues that have not been resolved, angers that have not been healed, arguments that have been left undone, uncompleted, or unresolved, that's the word I'm looking for. We're going to create an image, and we're going to react to each other through that image.
Well, it's a very good exercise for partners out there right now to think about the major complaint, right? Think about the major complaint my partner would have about me. So if I thought, well, I know he thinks I'm domineering and controlling, let's just say, right? A good thing that you could do to improve your relationship right now is not to show up doing or saying anything that would confirm that negative image.
Right.
So that would mean making a conscious effort not to show up as controlling, not to
Or not to show up as critical. If I experience you as critical.
or as irritable and explosive,
Or as irritable and explosive. Or as impatient.
or as needing to be right.
Or as needing to be right.
Right?
Yes.
So I would have to see, how does my partner see me?
Yeah.
Not disagree with it.
Right.
Assume there's a good grain of truth in it.
Right.
And then make a commitment for not showing up that way. In fact, showing up the opposite.
Well, it's many of the couples might say, I told him that he's being so critical with me. And then the wife might say, and then the husband might respond, no, I'm not. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not critical with you. So it's like he's not taking her word for gospel. And that's really what he has to do, just as she has to take his word for gospel when he complains about, let's say, her being too domineering or too controlling. I may not see that in myself. I may not believe that about myself. But that's how you experience me. That's how you see me. So I'm going to take that for gospel, but I'm also going to ask you the very next time you experience that, you're going to show that to me in the moment.
Well, yes. Well, you said a lot there that needs to be teased out.
Go ahead.
First and foremost, we have to get really in touch with what we want here. And that is, we don't want to win or be right. We want to start getting along better.
Right.
We want to start feeling you're a best friend. And that you're not walking around with any unhidden or unexpressed annoyance at me. That way it feels clear between us. And we're really in sync and close.
Right.
Emotionally, mentally, and sexually.
Right.
There's no unspoken grievance between us.
Yes.
So that's got to be the priority, wanting to create that kind of space between us. And when I'm...
Just a minute, what do you mean, that kind of space between?
The feeling between us. That kind of... The space between us has to be free of any contaminants, so to speak.
Yes.
A clear channel between us.
Yes.
right? That has to be my real goal, not winning, being right, or getting one up. Now, if I'm coming from that place, yes, you're correct. Just knowing what the image you have of me, and my making a conscious effort to show up differently is step one. But step two is I may still slip up and snap or make a critical comment. And then what do? Well, that's when we have to agree that in the moment when that happens, I'm giving you the permission to gently point it out to me. And then when you gently point it out to me, I will sincerely look as honestly as I can. If I see that I've snapped, I'm going to say, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry. That was a snappish comment.
What if you don't see it?
If I don't see it, if I honestly don't see it,
Yes.
if I'm not tap dancing to create a fog of confusion,
Right.
and if I'm not trying to turn the tables and blame it on you, if I honestly don't see how I was critical, I'll say, I'm sorry. But tell me, how was that critical? And then you would have to say, well, you rolled your eyes, or
Yes.
you
Or
made
the
that
tone of voice.
The tone of voice, right?
Oh, right.
And that's where we get back to living the way my dog lives, with in the moment,
Yes.
clear between us,
Yes.
present centered,
Yes.
and no grievances blocking
Yeah.
our expression of love for one another.
Yes. No accumulation of grievances.
That's right.
We don't want that. We literally want to clean out the closet every day.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why for years and years and years, marriage counselors have said, don't go to bed angry.
Right.
And really, that's just a way of saying, clean it up before you go to bed. And if you're not able to, what if I'm not able to? What if I feel so hurt or so angry that I'm not able to even talk to you about it? Then I would have to be, and let's say you do want to clear it out with me. Would I then not have to say to you, look, I'm not able to do this tonight, I'm just too upset.
Correct.
But I promise you, tomorrow, either before we go to work over a cup of coffee, or I'll meet you for lunch, or maybe not until after dinner tomorrow, we're going to set aside time to talk this through so that we don't accumulate any grievance.
So let's go back for a second. So we started out by saying, everybody has had the experience, even if you're not a dog owner, of being in the company of a dog that is overboard affectionate, overboard welcoming, overboard adoring. It's pretty amazing that these were once wolves, and now they're so man's best friend,
Right,
let's say, right?
right.
Well, we as partners can have that kind of an adoring feeling between us, as long as we do what the dog does and not accumulate grievances.
That's right.
If we were able to resolve our because differences will come up.
Yes.
We're not clones of one another.
Right.
But if we were able to successfully resolve each grievance that came up, and those that we weren't able to resolve, that are legitimate differences in what you
Yes.
need, if we could agree to disagree for the while until
Right,
something
exactly.
changes in the situation, and then I
Right.
come to your side or you come to mine.
Right.
If we could do that, then we could live the way dogs live, freely in the moment. And when I
Yes.
saw you, I would see you with the way my dog sees me, with no accumulation of anger or annoyance. I would see
Right.
you the way I saw you for the first time.
And that would be your expression of unconditional love.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And now this, of course, presupposes that you want to be connected with me and that I want to be connected with you. Right?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about not accumulating any grievances, you're talking about being able to stay connected.
Correct.
And that's the motivating factor. The strong motivating factor is that we stay connected.
Well, we've just tried to today in this brief little talk, because most people say they do want a best friend,
Yes.
lover connection. They want to be soulmates, best friends, and
Yes.
passionate lovers.
Right.
Well, one big step along the way to getting there is to not have stored unexpressed grievances.
Right. Accumulated angers.
Right. No images working.
Right.
No images. And so following the steps that we just outlined can go a long way toward getting you there.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
See you next time.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.